Hello everybody, welcome back. It's me, your old pal Orpheus, with another edition of Orpheus Plays, and we are here playing Blade and Sorcery Nomad. Yeah, the Quest 2 port. The PC version I've also got. I play that once in a while, but you know, occasionally it's nice to just go back into the old Quest 2 and do the standalone version here. You might notice I just jumped a little bit high. Yeah, I've got one of the superhuman mods installed. Now that the mod system is so conveniently put into the game, I figured, why not? We'll have some crazy mods, have a little bit of silly fun. As always, telling you some crazy stories as we go through the fun. Anyway, I hope you're doing well wherever you are right now, whether it's day or night, or, I don't know, you're taking the SAT and for some reason you're in the back watching me on your phone instead of answering, you know, the Scantron sheet. By the way, the answer's C. Okay, so there you go. I just helped you get into college. Hooray! Anyway, let's get things started. We're in survival mode here in the market. And that means that 3 weapons will come out in waves, one at a time. There's my tactical axe up there. And you choose one of these weapons and you beat up and wreck everything that comes out. Now, it's supposed to get progressively harder, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm in God mode anyway with superhuman powers, so they have no chance today. All right, so let's... I'm going to just grab a sword, but it doesn't matter. That's going into the Brad pit. Let's see, what should I use today? I've got my galaxy shield. This is cool as hell, and my sickle. Yeah, why not? Let's do this. Let's start things off with a little bit of craziness. Here's our first traditional slow motion kill of the day. We're gonna try to give this guy a little bit of a surprise. Here, hit the shield. There you go. There you go. Come on. Come on. Come here. Hit the shield. Come here. Boy, you bro. Ha! You're caught on my shield. You're screwed. Oh! And you're gone. Let's get rid of that shield. I need something a little bit crazier. Let me get the axe out here. We'll do two-handed. Huh? You see the axe, don't you? You're scared. I know you're scared. Yes, you are. Of your old pal Orpheus. That's right. So let's see. What do we talk about today? I was just thinking, like, I think I like this game so much because it's a medieval game, right? So you're basically in medieval time. Ooh, you have been disarmed. Good for you. But it's like this period of time where things were dangerous and exciting, and like they could suck a little bit because, like, if you get a little scratch, like suddenly a week and a half later you die of tetanus or something, right? And so it was an exciting time, but at the same time, it, like, just dangerous and dirty and like, ugh, right? Well, in order to get some of that old medieval flavor without all of the danger, at least some of the danger, right? There's this thing called the SCA. It's the Society for Creative Anachronism, right? And that's a mouthful, right? And basically what it is, it's a medieval restoration society, right? So there's little groups, they're called kingdoms, and or I forget what they're called. They're like sessions or something like that. Basically, smaller local groups that get together, and you basically live like you're in medieval times, right? You dress up. You dress up with all the stuff, you know, you make your own traditional clothes out of the cloths and everything that were available at the time. You make your own, like, tools, and you have, like, a little tool belt and stuff. And you get together for banquets, and you have, like, local lords and ladies. There's always one or two couples that just take it way too far, and their entire home is like a medieval banquet hall. Anyway, so, like, what you'd do is you'd get together for these meetings, and you'd, like, discuss things, and just kind of, you know, get together for crafting and making cool stuff. Well, one of the main focuses or drives of the SCA is fighting, right? Martial fighting. So, like, you know, actual combat, where they take, okay, they're usually rattan, which is a kind of wood. So, like, think of a bow staff or like a wooden katana, right? So they would have these weapons that were like the ones that you see here, but made out of wood, right? And it's not like, you know, light wood. These things will hurt you really bad if you get hit with them. Well, what do? Well, the logical thing, armor, right? So actual metal armor, like, real plate armor that you wear. Oh, Captain America says, bye-bye. You're in the next time zone, bro. Anyway, so, like, you'd actually make real armor out of steel, just like they would, back in the day. Except there's a little bit thinner steel. Okay, I guess you tripped and broke your neck. Ha, take that. But, like, a little thinner, I think it was 10-gauge steel. Oddly enough, your old pal Orpheus here knows how to make armor. That's right. One of the things that I specialized in when I was in the SDA. Oh, did I mention? I'm bringing this up because I was in it. Right? So one of the things that was my specialties was armor making. So I know how to make gauntlets and plate steel vambraces and epaulets and shoulder pieces and leg pieces and chest plates and everything. I know how to do all of that. And yes, helmets. I can make helmets too. My other specialty was mead making. Yes, I know how to make mead. That's that honey wine, honey liquor. Yeah, I know how to make that stuff. And that was one of the other things that I did. Well, okay, so back to the combat, right? Oh, God. I feel like Steve Rogers. What are my powers? Aye. We're going to do a strike. Take that. Oh, no. So anyway, we'd get together and, like, make armor and like, get the weapons ready and everything. And then, so we'd have local tournaments, right? Between the different little tiny fiefdoms and kingdoms and stuff. And take that, bro. And so we'd get together and make the armor, and like someone would have an anvil, and someone would have all the tools and everything, and I'd get together with some of the other blacksmiths, and we'd make armor, and we'd have banquets and like eat traditional foods and everything. Well, so those battles went on, and before you think that it was just a bunch of idiots like neckbeards putting on steel armor and fighting each other, it was way more regulated than that. There's actually safety regulations that you have to go through tests. You have to have your armor tested out. You have to have everything all taken care of. You get certified as a fighter. Blah. You get, all the training and everything. It's a pretty involved process, right? And so they make sure that there's a lot of safety procedures in place so you don't, just go out there and break bones and everything. Now, that's not to say that people didn't break bones, right? You still have bone breaks and sprains and strains and all that stuff. Well, okay. So... There's a grand event once a year called the Pennsic War, and it's Pennsic, I think. And it's this grand battle of like 10,000 people that all get on the battlefield all at once. There's one or two grand battles that take place during this event. Think of it like a 5 or 6 day camping excursion with a bunch of people that are all dressed in medieval garb, and you have traditional medieval tents. Where do you think you're going, lady? Traditional medieval tents, and like the Harry Potter thing where they go to like the festival and it's all a bunch of tents and everyone dressed up and everything. And I actually legitimately had a sword that I was hanging off my side, a real sword that you'd wear around and everything. You have your little dagger and stuff. Where's my little dagger? Something kind of like this that you carry with you, and you have a backstory for your character and everything. And it's like this fun way to kind of go ahead and relive some of those days, right? Well, so here's the part of the story that gets fun. This was years ago, so like I remember I can kind of date the time period. Where did I hit you? Okay. I can kind of this is actually like the sword that I had, funny enough. I can date the time period by the technology that was around, and it was web TV, right? It was this like little box that you hooked up to your television, and you could access the web through dial-up. And like, so this comes into play because it was how I met this girl. I was what was I? I think I'd gotten out of college or something like that, and I was in between colleges. It was another one of those weird times for me where I I didn't have any focus whatsoever, right? Well, I started to get interested in this Pennsic thing. And I was like, that would be really cool to spend, weekends doing medieval stuff and, making all the clothes and all that. And I had already had an interest in making armor and brewing, like, cordials and things like that, which is like a blackberry wine or liqueur, right? Things like that. I had tried dandelion wines and stuff like that in the past, and I was pretty interested. Bro, guys made a Lego here. Anyway, so I'd been interested in that kind of crafting stuff with medieval times for a while, and we've all been to, like, the Ren fairs and stuff like that. Maybe even gone to a medieval times one of those the restaurant places where they have, like, the jousting and the night battles while you sit around the edge and eat chicken, right? Something like that. I'd always been interested in it. And one of my favorite places whenever I would visit Vegas was medieval... what is it? Oh, God, now I forget it. Medieval time? No. What the hell is it called? Excalibur. The Excalibur Hotel. Always fascinated with that stuff. Okay. So I wanted to get involved in it, but I had no idea how to start, right? I didn't have an in, right? And I was, like, searching on the internet, which was really primitive back then. Like, seriously primitive, right? So I'm at the library, like, researching how to get involved in this thing. And I find a girl who's on a forum who's talking about it. And she lived maybe 45 minutes away from where I was. And so I was like, yeah, I sent her an email and I was like, I really am interested in this. Can you help me out? To kind of get acquainted with this stuff and who to meet and where to go. And she's like, yeah, we emailed back and forth a couple of times. That was neat. And long story short, I ended up starting to date this girl. And, we would go to those little meetings and stuff. We dated for about 6 months or so. Well... Before you think it was just some sort of normal, some sort of normal thing, I was being sort of selfish. I wanted to go to Pennsic, and I knew it was coming up. I'm such a dirtbag. At least I was back then. So I wanted to go to Pennsic really bad. Smash! Take that little swipe for you, Steve Rogers punch. And so, I wanted to go to Pennsic. I knew it was coming up, and I didn't when I said I didn't have an in. I didn't have an in to go to Pennsic, right? You have to be okay. You have to normally be associated or affiliated with one of those little local places in order to do it, and especially doubly so if you want to do any combat, right? If you want to build any armor for people, or you want to be in. He was like, "What the hell?" Or you want to be in the crafting circles to sell your armor and stuff. Yeah, you like that? So I was really interested in it, and I knew it was coming up, and I'm like, I need to find some way to get there. So I, conveniently met this girl, and I was like, if I date this girl, I've got, like, this permanent in, because she was serious about this stuff. Like, she was one of the people who her entire apartment was decorated with, like, fairy stuff and everything like that. And so she had a web TV. That's where that technology marks, and we would, like, send emails and stuff like that. Okay, so make all the armor. I made some armor for a bunch of other people. I got together with, people in the local group, and we made some mead, and we got, you pay your fee, and you pick your campsite and everything. So we go to this thing, and it was where was it? It's in Pennsylvania, I think. And hence the name Pennsic, right? And it's called the Pennsic War because of, the recreation of that sort of thing. Okay, so we go to this thing, you do your registration at the gate, you get your place, we all have, okay. Oh, and there's our drama queen of the day! Ding, 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 ding. Refuse to get off screen. Anyway, so we get there, we get our tent set up with all the traditional stuff. Ooh, I made a basket. Nice, right into the Brad pit. And so it started off really cool. You have like you meet the king and queen of the Pennsic organization, who are people that are way too into this stuff, right? And so they hold court and everything, and It's like a big Ren Fair, except everyone that would go to the Ren Fair is living there for a week, right? And they're also completely, like, they have checks at the door where on the site there's people that walk around as marshals, and they make sure that you don't have any modern technology with you, right? So, I mean, you're allowed to bring cell phones and stuff, but if you're walking around with a cell phone, or if you're sitting at your campsite just chatting away or checking Facebook or something, yeah, no, the marshal will come up and tell you to stow that stuff. And then there'd be, like, days where the public could come visit, so it's... We're all dressed like traditional, and trust me, it was totally traditional. Except for the porta castles, which is what they call the porta potties, right? And so it was completely within time period, right? Time period accurate. And so everybody stank. Nobody showered. We got pissed drunk every single night on, like, homemade alcohols and stuff. Went to different, like, just totally horrible parties. There were just debauchery. I spent several nights wearing a loincloth. Now, if you've never worn a loincloth, it's rather freeing, right? It's very liberating. You have a little, like, rope around your waist, right? And then you take basically a scarf, and you tuck the scarf in the front of the belt and then in the back of the belt, and you have just a strip of cloth that's kind of holding your junk, right? And there's just flaps in front and back. You've seen loincloths in video games. Now, come on, right? Wearing one of those is, so, unusually liberating, right? Because you're just like, I am Tarzan out in forest, right? Like, it felt really good. Waking up every morning with a hangover in a hot tent was not very fun. Superhero. Yay! Hey, ha! Nothing for you. And so, yeah, waking up with a hangover in a hot tent during the summer in Pennsylvania, not the most fun experience, I'll tell you that. But, so we went and, there were some people that had a little bit of green, so spent some of my days doing that. We would go and walk around and see all the different vendors and everything. There were, craftsmen and merchants that would sell all sorts of stuff. I sold my armor to some of the places there, made a pretty penny off of that, I'll tell you that. I sold some of my mead, and yeah, I got a big old jug of mead in my closet right now. It's been aging for a year and a half now. It's some gorgeous stuff, too. It's like, what a wonderful golden color. I don't drink, though, so it's just sitting there fermenting and getting more amazing as time goes on. But, like, yeah, I sold some of my, gallons of mead there. Again, pretty penny. People will pay a lot for homemade alcohol, I'll tell you that. So if the apocalypse ever comes, I'll be all set with bartering because I can make alcohol. Anyway, so we're doing all this stuff where, and the battles. Oh my God, the battles. You have people that will, you have two sides, of course, to a battle. And you've got 5,000 people on each side of this giant field, and you have the field marshals that are out in the middle, and they go brrr, blow a horn and ring some bells and stuff, and then that is it. Stuff is on, right? You have people that just charge across that field, and they go running through, and they got their weapons raised, and exactly like you'd see in a movie for some sort of huge battle. I am terrible with the bow today. What's going on? Right into the shield. Right into the face. There you go. But, so, the battle, we'd run across the field and get going. You're like, and then right in the middle, that clash, that first clash during that battle is incredible to either witness or be in. Especially when you're in it. Oh my God, the adrenaline as you're holding your weapon, and when you play fight with your friends, right? So you're ting, 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 or you're, kind of doing this with your friends, and oh yay, this is real funny, oh, right? When you're in the Pennsic War, when you're running across that battlefield and you've got your weapon, not an edged weapon, right? The rattan weapon, but still okay. a significant, weight, and it can do some damage, right? You're wearing plate armor. And so that when you go and you're like full strength, just, right? It's just an amazing feeling. And it's like, just, you go for, what is it? I think it's like a 15-minute fight. And you get people, that are injured. And there's people called churgeons, which are Churgeons, which is the medieval root word for surgeon. Actually, it was pronounced a little differently. I think it's a French word, chirurgeon. But there's, medical professionals that are like, they're EMTs and doctors in real life, right? And they're doing this stuff to help out, so they take care of injuries and stuff like that. And oh my God, it's incredible to feel or to see the sounds of weapons clanging together and shields bashing into each other and steel armor clanging off of things as people wrestle, and like it was the most amazing thing I think I've been in. One of, like, in the top 10 experiences in my life in terms of just being like, wow, right? Another one of those was, and I'm not going to tell you the specific sporting event, but it was a sporting event. I'll just say it was a college football game, and it was in this giant outdoor stadium, and it was absolutely packed. And the roar of that crowd, being able to look around that stadium and see, like, it was like 60,000 people or something, all just like, it's that kind of feeling, right? It was just absolutely amazing. Well, okay, so it's time for Pennsic to end. We get to the last day. There's all the debauchery and parties and everything. And I get to, the end there where we're wrapping up and everything. And this girl... Are you going to shoot? There we go. This girl had become kind of annoying over the last couple of days, and like over the last couple of weeks. Honestly, I was just like, can we just get to this war, please, so I can do what I was originally wanting to do here. And this is kind of like the Orpheus had a sugar mama video. I kept dating that girl for about 2 weeks after the Pennsic War, just so I could, kind of... I made my connections and my networking in the whole, local area thing for the medieval stuff. And, I had actually made the friendships at the Pennsic War for, one of the groups that was nearer to where I lived instead of 45 minutes away. So it was perfect. I never had to see that girl. I never saw her again. I went to one more Pennsic War, a few years later, and I never saw her again. I never heard from her again. I don't know what happened to her. It was kind of a dirtbag thing again. I actually told her when we broke up, I was like, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but I was dating you so I could go to Pennsic. That's the thing about being mildly autistic and having some brain damage. Sometimes the filter doesn't quite catch the... Did you just fall down and break your neck? There you go. Little help for your family. But I have no filters sometimes, which is what makes these videos so fun, because I say stuff, I tell stories in this thing I would never tell anybody else, so you're the special in. But I have a tendency to just kind of say what's on my mind occasionally, and this was another one of those times. I was like, I was dating you just so I could go do this whole SCA thing, and I'm really sorry, but we're just not compatible, and I've kind of known that the whole time. I'm surprised she didn't slap the hell out of me. She was pissed. She yelled at me for a good 20 minutes, and it ended up with her saying, "Get the hell out of my apartment." That kind of breakup. It was brutal. But anyway, that's the story of my medieval experience with Pennsic. I no longer belong to the SCA. I'm not a member of them anymore. It is really, really fun, though. If you want to go out, give that a Google or something, do a web search, find that organization. They have places all over the country, and I think around the world now, too. If you're into that thing, go find a local group. They're amazing. And then if you get to go to Pennsic, I don't know if they still do it, but if you get to go to Pennsic, awesome experience. I really recommend it. Anyway, that's my little for today. We'll see you on the next one here on Orpheus Plays. Hey, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And you know what? Treat yourself well because you deserve it. All right, see you in the next one. Bye.